The great hall of the Galactic Council shimmered with lights that danced like distant stars. Leaders from dozens of worlds had gathered, each representing a different civilization. Their armor, clothing, and appearance were as varied as the planets they came from. Some had smooth, metallic skin that reflected the council's lights. Others had flowing robes that seemed alive with energy. In the middle of it all stood a human named Mark. He was calm, measured, and confident. Beside him was Anna. Her presence seemed smaller than the grandeur around her, yet there was a quiet strength in the way she stood. Whispers floated through the room like drifting sparks. Some of the alien leaders glanced at Anna and muttered words meant to sting. "The human commander's trophy," one voice hissed. "He parades her like a prize," another said. Their eyes lingered on her as if trying to measure her worth. Anna heard the whispers, but she did not falter. Her gaze met Mark's, and he gave her a small nod of support. That simple gesture reminded her that she was not alone. Mark had rescued Anna from a harsh situation years ago. She had been held captive by a ruthless faction that believed humans were weak and inferior. Many in the galaxy still shared that prejudice. Some saw her only as proof of Mark's victory, a symbol to boast about his skill and power. But Mark knew her differently. He had seen her courage in impossible situations, her intelligence in solving problems that even trained soldiers could not, and her kindness toward the weak and helpless. To him, she was never a trophy. She was a partner, a mind that complemented his, and a spirit that inspired everyone around her. The council session began. A tall, angular alien with glowing eyes spoke first. He outlined the latest threat to human colonies, describing fleets of advanced ships moving toward the outer systems. The room fell silent as every leader weighed the danger. Whispers about Anna continued, though now mixed with curiosity. Some began to notice that she was not idle. She stood straight, her hands folded calmly, observing every detail. Every few moments, she would whisper a suggestion to Mark. He would nod and adjust his posture, quietly showing that he valued her input. A few leaders dared to mock openly. "Does your human companion advise your fleet?" one sneered. "Or does she simply decorate your command?" His laughter echoed, meant to humiliate. Anna's cheeks flushed for a moment, but she held her head high. Mark did not respond with anger. Instead, he calmly placed a hand on her shoulder, signaling that he trusted her completely. The council began to realize that Mark's respect for Anna was not performative. It was real. It was based on what she had earned through her courage and intellect, not her appearance. After hours of discussion, the council prepared to vote on the next defensive measures. Mark quietly turned to Anna. "Your thoughts," he said. Her eyes sparkled with focus as she outlined several strategies that combined human adaptability with the strengths of allied alien fleets. She spoke with clarity and confidence, showing that she understood not just tactics, but also diplomacy. The murmurs around the room grew softer. Some leaders were impressed. Others seemed reluctant to admit it. But no one could deny that Anna's insights were sharp and valuable. As the session ended, Mark and Anna walked toward the exit of the hall. The whispers had not entirely disappeared, but the tone had shifted. Some leaders now looked at Anna with a mix of curiosity and respect. The human commander had silently sent a message. She was not his trophy. She was his equal. Even in the face of centuries of prejudice and doubt, their partnership had begun to speak louder than any mocking word. Outside, the ship waited, gleaming under the twin suns of the planet. Crew members moved quickly, preparing for the journey to the frontier. Systems. Anna took a deep breath. "I do not need anyone's approval," she said softly. Mark smiled. "And you never will," he replied. Their connection was unspoken but undeniable. It was built on shared experience, trust, and the knowledge that together They were stronger than any fleet or council could ever be. That evening, as the stars stretched endlessly across the sky, Anna stood on the observation deck, watching distant planets rotate. She felt a strange sense of peace. The council might have seen her as a decoration, a mere symbol. But here, among humans and allies who followed her guidance, she was recognized for who she truly was. She was not a prize to display. She was a person with power, intelligence, and a voice. Mark had not claimed her as property. He had stood by her side, showing that respect and honor were stronger than mockery. The galaxy outside was vast and dangerous. Yet for the first time in a long time, Anna felt prepared. She was ready to face whatever challenges came next. And she knew that with Mark beside her, they could meet them together, not as captor and captive, but as partners. In a universe that doubted human strength, they would prove that courage, wisdom, and unity were the greatest weapons of all. The ship hummed quietly as it sailed through the vast emptiness of space. Its sleek hull reflected the glow of distant stars, moving steadily toward the outer human colonies. Inside, the corridors were alive with the soft sounds of machinery, footsteps of crew members, and occasional bursts of communication. Anna walked beside Mark, her posture calm but alert. The long hours of council meetings and whispered mockery seemed distant here. On board the ship, she felt a freedom that no council hall could offer. Mark glanced at her and smiled. "You have a sharp eye," he said, referring to her observations during the council. Anna nodded without pride, knowing that action mattered more than words. She had spent years learning to read people, to see threats and opportunities that others overlooked. That skill had saved them before, and it would save them again. The crew, mostly humans, but with a few alien allies, noticed the way Mark treated Anna. Some had come aboard with doubts. They had heard the same whispers as in the council, that Anna was merely a companion, a decoration. But her calm authority and precise instructions began to change opinions. When the engineers faced a problem with the ship's propulsion system, Anna quietly suggested a small adjustment in the energy flow. The senior engineer followed her advice, and the engine hummed smoothly once more. No one questioned her guidance after that. Later, in the common area, a few younger crew members hesitated before approaching her. "Commander," one said softly, "you have a plan for the training exercises?" Anna looked at him, her expression patient. "Yes," she replied. "We will focus on teamwork first. Every pilot needs to understand the strengths of the others. Alone, any ship can be destroyed. Together, we are stronger than the enemy fleet." The young crew member nodded, a hint of relief on his face. He had expected someone distant or harsh, but Anna spoke with respect and clarity. Mark watched from the doorway, feeling a quiet pride. He had chosen to treat Anna as a partner, and the results spoke for themselves. She earned the crew's trust not through position, not through appearances, but through her actions. That trust was essential, because soon they would face challenges far greater than training exercises. Alien fleets were moving closer, and intelligence suggested they were planning to strike the colony swiftly. As the ship entered a sector near the outer rim, Anna stood at the observation deck, looking at the endless stretch of stars. Mark joined her, leaning on the railing beside her. "Do you ever think about how many people underestimate us?" he asked quietly. Anna smiled faintly. "Every day," she said. "But that makes them predictable. They judge humans and our allies by old rules. They forget that we adapt, that we learn quickly, and that we trust one another." The bond between them was silent but strong. Mark did not need to constantly affirm her value with words, because his actions already showed it. He deferred to her judgment in planning sessions, supported her decisions in front of the crew, and ensured that no one treated her as anything less than an equal. In return, Anna trusted him with her life. She knew he would fight beside her, not against her, and that he believed in her as much as she believed in him. One evening, during a routine check of the ship's defenses, a small alarm flashed on the control panel. Anna and Mark rushed to the bridge. Sensors indicated an unknown vessel approaching at high speed. Anna immediately analyzed the trajectory and advised evasive maneuvers. Mark issued her recommendations to the pilot. The crew followed without hesitation, and the ship slipped past the intruder's path without damage. The small encounter was a test, and Anna had guided them through it flawlessly. Afterward, the crew gathered in the mess hall. They no longer whispered doubts about Anna. Instead, they spoke in quiet tones of respect. "She knows the systems better than some senior officers," one said. Another added, "And she never demands credit. She just gets things done." Mark listened, pleased that the silent bond he had cultivated with Anna was now visible to everyone. Their partnership was more than personal. It was a foundation for leadership and unity. As the ship continued toward the frontier systems, Anna and Mark shared a moment of quiet reflection. The stars stretched endlessly before them, a reminder of the challenges yet to come. "We have to be ready," Mark said. "Not just for battle, but for the people who depend on us." Anna nodded. "We are ready," she replied. "Together we will make sure they survive. And we will show the galaxy that humans do not rely on luck alone. We rely on courage, intelligence, and trust." That night, as the ship sailed under the light of distant suns, Anna felt a sense of calm determination. The whispers of the council were far behind them. On board, among those who could see her true value, she had become a leader in her own right. The galaxy could doubt her. The enemies could underestimate her. But she and Mark knew the truth. She was no trophy, no decoration. She was a partner, a strategist, a warrior, and a voice of strength. And together, they were ready to face anything that came their way. The calm of space was deceptive. While the human ship sailed steadily toward the outer colonies, intelligence reports painted a grim picture. A vast alien empire was moving quickly, their fleets gathering like shadows against the stars. Mark studied the maps projected on the bridge, his brow furrowed. The sheer size of the enemy force was overwhelming. Entire colonies could be lost if they failed to act quickly. Anna stood beside him, her eyes scanning the data. Unlike others who might have panicked, she remained calm. Her mind worked through the numbers and positions of ships, calculating possible outcomes. "Their fleets are organized in strict formations," she said. "If we use standard defenses, we will be surrounded. But their rigidity can be used against them." Mark nodded, recognizing her insight immediately. Her ability to see patterns where others saw chaos had saved them before, and it would do so again. Word of the approaching threat reached the councils of human colonies and allied worlds. Some leaders were frightened. Doubt spread like a virus. "Humans cannot withstand such numbers," one governor said bitterly. "Their defenses are weak." Many still held prejudices about humanity, thinking them fragile and disorganized. They ignored the subtle strengths that humans possessed: adaptability, unity, and creativity in the face of danger. Mark called a strategy session with his key officers, including Anna. As the room filled with commanders, some skeptically glanced at Anna. She had no formal title, but her presence was impossible to ignore. Mark introduced her simply, stating that her strategic advice had been invaluable. He allowed her to present her analysis to the room. Anna began calmly, pointing out weaknesses in the enemy formation. "They rely heavily on standard patterns and repeated tactics," she explained. "If we change our attack points quickly and use smaller, faster units to disrupt them, we can divide their fleet and reduce their advantage. Their power is in numbers, But our advantage is flexibility and coordination. Some commanders raised eyebrows. They were used to rigid protocols, and her ideas sounded unorthodox. Yet Mark did not interrupt or challenge her. He trusted her judgment completely. Slowly, as Anna continued, even the skeptics began to see the logic in her words. She spoke with clarity, showing every calculation and anticipating counterattacks. The room, once doubtful, grew quiet with attention. Hours passed. Maps were redrawn, simulations run, and adjustments made. Anna worked alongside Mark seamlessly. Every suggestion she made was considered seriously, and every decision Mark made included her input. Together, they were not just a team. They were a force that the galaxy could not easily underestimate. As they prepared for deployment, Anna walked the corridors of the ship. Crew members greeted her with respect rather than whispers. Her reputation had spread, not because of Mark's position, but because of her own actions and intelligence. Pilots, engineers, and soldiers sought her guidance, knowing she understood the challenges they faced. The silent bond between Mark and Anna had become visible to everyone on board. Their partnership inspired confidence and courage, qualities that would be essential in the battles to come. Late in the evening, Mark joined Anna in the observation deck. The stars stretched endlessly before them, distant suns casting light across the black void. "The Empire moves faster than we thought," Mark said, his voice quiet. "But we will meet them head on." Anna turned, her gaze steady. "They underestimate humans. They assume we cannot adapt quickly. They do not understand our ability to work together, to learn from every move, to trust one another completely." Mark smiled. "And they do not understand you," he added. "You see possibilities where others see only limits." Anna's lips curved into a small smile. "Then we will use that advantage," she said. "Every decision we make, every move in the battle, will be based on strategy, not fear. We will show them the strength of humans." The next morning, as the fleet prepared to leave the safe zones, reports came in from scouts. Alien ships were already nearing the colonies, moving in precise formations designed to overwhelm defenses. The tension was palpable, yet on the human ship, there was focus rather than panic. Every crew member knew their role, and every role had been reviewed and strengthened under Anna's guidance. Before departure, Mark gathered the crew on the main deck. "Today, we face a challenge that some believe is impossible," he said. "But I know the truth. We have the courage, the intelligence, and the unity to meet it. Anna has shown us paths that others overlooked. We will follow them, together, and protect the colonies. This is not a battle of one person, but of all of us, and we will succeed." A wave of determination passed through the crew. Doubts melted into focus, and fear transformed into action. Anna stood beside Mark, not as a trophy or decoration, but as a strategist, a leader, and a partner. The rising threat from the alien empire would test them all, but they were ready. Together, they would face the enemy, and they would prove that humanity's true power was not just in ships or weapons, but in courage, wisdom, and unity. The command room of the human ship buzzed with activity. Holographic maps floated in the air, showing enemy movements, positions of allied ships, and the terrain of the upcoming battle. Officers hurried back and forth, adjusting plans and checking equipment. At the center of the room stood Mark and Anna, working together as if their minds were connected. The alien fleets were vast, organized, and confident. They believed in their superiority and relied on rigid formations and predictable tactics. Most leaders assumed humans could not respond quickly to changing conditions. But Anna saw differently. She studied every angle, calculating where the enemy could be weakest, how their formations might break under unexpected pressure, and how the human fleet could exploit those gaps. "Mark, if we divide our attack into 3 smaller waves. We can confuse their central command, Anna said, pointing to the projection. The first wave will draw their attention. The second will flank from the opposite side. The third will target their supply lines. They rely on fast resupply, and if we disrupt it, their fleets will slow down. Some officers in the room exchanged skeptical glances. The plan was unconventional, and it required perfect timing and coordination. A single mistake could be disastrous. Yet Mark looked at Anna with calm confidence. "We follow her strategy," he said firmly. "Every move will be coordinated as she instructs. Trust in the plan and trust in each other." Anna took a deep breath. She was used to doubt, but she had learned that confidence and preparation were stronger than fear. She addressed the officers and crew with clear instructions. Each pilot, engineer, and support officer received their role and responsibilities. She emphasized communication, quick adaptation, and teamwork. Her voice was calm but firm, inspiring confidence in those who listened. Hours turned into the night as simulations were run. Every possible scenario was considered. Anna adjusted the plan as new data came in, always thinking several steps ahead. Mark stayed close, discussing options, asking questions, and supporting her decisions. Their collaboration was seamless, a combination of trust, experience, and mutual respect. Outside the command room, the crew prepared their ships for the coming engagement. Engineers checked engines and weapons, pilots reviewed flight paths, and communication teams monitored the approaching enemy fleet. Everyone could feel the tension in the air, but Anna's presence calmed them. She walked among the crew, offering guidance, encouragement, and reassurance. Her knowledge and focus gave them confidence that they could face the challenge ahead. Late in the evening, Mark and Anna reviewed the final strategy together. The alien fleet was approaching faster than expected. Sensors indicated that the enemy would reach the outer colonies within hours. "We cannot delay any longer," Mark said. "The colonies are counting on us." Anna nodded, her mind already shifting to calculations and predictions. "Every move must be precise. We will not attack blindly. We will control the battlefield." As they boarded their personal command pods to oversee the first wave, Anna checked the systems once more. Every pilot had received instructions. Every support system was ready, and every communication line was secured. The human fleet waited for the signal, engines humming in anticipation. Mark glanced at her. "Ready?" he asked. Anna met his gaze, her eyes steady. "Always," she replied. The fleet moved into position, spreading across the vast expanse of space. Enemy sensors had not detected their formations yet. The first wave surged forward, small and fast, drawing enemy attention. Anna's plan unfolded exactly as she predicted. The alien fleet responded as expected, moving rigidly and predictably. Mark watched carefully, ready to act if adjustments were needed. The second wave moved in from the flank. Confusion rippled through the enemy ranks. Ships collided, orders were delayed, and their coordination faltered. Anna communicated constantly with the pilots, adjusting flight paths and timing to maximize the disruption. Mark supported her every step, reinforcing her decisions and ensuring the fleet remained united. Finally, the third wave targeted the enemy's supply lines. Without fast resupply, the alien fleet slowed, their advantage of numbers beginning to disappear. Crew members cheered quietly as reports came in. The strategy was working. Anna's plan was precise, clever, and effective. The officers who had doubted her now recognized her skill and intelligence dogged by the time the first contact with the enemy fleet occurred. Humans had already gained a clear advantage. Anna and Mark coordinated every movement, guiding the fleet with precision. The enemy, confident in their strength, had not anticipated the adaptability, courage, and intelligence of the human command. As the battle began, it became clear that The strength of humans was not just in their ships or weapons. It was in their minds, their ability to learn, adapt, and trust each other. And at the heart of that strength were Mark and Anna, a team whose partnership had turned whispers of doubt into a plan that could change the course of the war. The distant stars seemed to shine brighter as the human fleet approached the outer colonies. The alien ships were massive, lined in tight formations, their weapons bristling and ready. The tension in the fleet was electric, but the humans moved with calm purpose. Every pilot, engineer, and crew member trusted in the strategy laid out by Anna and supported by Mark. Anna stood on the command bridge, scanning the enemy's movements. Her mind worked faster than the fastest computers on board. "Wave 1. Begin your attack," she instructed. Small, fast human ships surged forward, drawing the alien fleet's attention exactly as planned. Enemy vessels shifted, moving rigidly to counter the first wave, and the human pilots followed every command flawlessly. Mark watched beside her, his eyes steady but alert. He felt the weight of responsibility, but he also felt the power of unity. The fleet's trust in Anna and the careful preparation they had done gave him confidence. "Maintain formation," he said calmly to the bridge crew. "Listen to her instructions and act quickly." The alien fleet responded predictably. Ships turned, fired, and maneuvered exactly as Anna had calculated. She had studied their patterns for weeks, noting every flaw and hesitation. Now, it was time to exploit them. Second wave, flank from the left side. "Timing must be exact," she said. The second wave moved swiftly, crossing the enemy's rear and striking weak points in their formation. Explosions lit up the darkness of space as alien ships were damaged or forced to retreat. Even the skeptical officers watched in awe. Anna's voice was calm, precise, and commanding. Each instruction she gave was followed immediately. The human fleet moved like a single organism, responding to every change in the battlefield. Mark reinforced her decisions at key moments, ensuring that the fleet stayed united and that no pilot hesitated. Together, they created a leadership that inspired courage and confidence. As the battle intensified, the third wave struck. Its mission was critical attack the enemy's supply lines and communication hubs. Without supplies and guidance, the alien fleets would struggle to maintain their advance. Anna directed the wave personally, coordinating with the smaller ships to avoid detection and maximize damage. Reports came in quickly. Supply ships were destroyed, communication signals disrupted, and enemy coordination began to falter. The battle was not without danger. Several human ships faced heavy fire, and alarms blared throughout the fleet. Anna remained calm, giving clear instructions for evasive maneuvers and repairs. Mark moved between stations, ensuring that every crew member followed her commands precisely. Every challenge they faced was met with quick thinking, teamwork, and trust. In the heat of the conflict, Anna and Mark shared brief moments of silent understanding. A glance from her meant a change in tactics, and Mark immediately communicated the adjustment to the fleet. They moved in perfect sync, each anticipating the other's needs and decisions. Their silent bond had become a visible force, guiding the fleet with intelligence and courage. The alien commanders, confident in their strength, began to realize their mistake. The humans were not simply reacting, they were leading the battle, with precision, adaptability, and strategy. Their numerical advantage mattered little when they were divided and disrupted. The human fleet struck with speed and accuracy, taking control of key sectors of the battlefield. By the time the first major clash ended, human forces had achieved a clear advantage. The alien fleet was confused, disorganized, and unable to maintain coordinated attacks. Casualties were minimal compared to what might have occurred without Anna's guidance. Crew members cheered quietly on the bridge, As reports confirmed that the first objective had been accomplished successfully, Mark turned to Anna. "You did it. The fleet executed perfectly." She shook her head, humility in her eyes. "We did it," she corrected. "Every pilot, every engineer, every officer followed the plan. Without them, none of this would have been possible." Mark nodded. He knew she was right. The victory was not hers alone. It was shared by the entire human fleet. Inspired and led by her wisdom and courage, as the fleet prepared for the next phase, a sense of pride and unity spread among the crew. Anna's leadership had transformed fear into focus, doubt into determination. She was no longer seen as a companion or a decoration. She had become a strategist, a guide, and a symbol of human strength. Mark's choice to trust and respect her had allowed her to shine, proving to all that leadership comes not from titles or appearances, but from intelligence, courage, and the ability to inspire others. As the human ships regrouped and prepared for the next wave, Anna looked out at the stars, her mind already calculating the next steps. The trial by fire had begun, but the human fleet had survived, and they had proven something important: that unity, strategy, and trust could overcome even the greatest of threats. And at the center of it all, Anna and Mark stood together, partners in battle, guiding humanity toward a future no one could have predicted. The aftermath of the battle left the human fleet floating in the quiet expanse of space. The alien ships that had survived were retreating, disorganized and hesitant. Human crews worked tirelessly to repair their vessels, check systems, and treat minor injuries. A sense of accomplishment mixed with relief filled the air. For the first time, many crew members truly understood the strength of their unity and leadership. Anna moved among the fleet, offering guidance and support. She checked repairs, advised engineers on efficiency, and encouraged pilots to remain alert for any remaining threats. Crew members who had once doubted her now approached with respect and appreciation. Her calm authority and precise actions had turned fear into confidence. She was no longer a companion to Mark, whispered about as a trophy. She was a leader in her own right. Mark watched her quietly from the bridge. He felt a surge of pride, not in himself, but in Anna. He had trusted her when others doubted, and she had proven him right. "You've done more than I ever imagined," he said softly as he joined her at the observation deck. Anna looked out at the stars, tired but unbowed. "It was never about me," she said. "It was about the fleet. Every person on these ships gave their best. We only succeed when we all work together." News of the battle spread quickly across human colonies and allied systems. Reports highlighted the remarkable tactics of the fleet, and particularly the brilliance of Anna's strategy. Many leaders who had once mocked her began to see a different truth. Humans were capable of thinking quickly, adapting to challenges, and using intelligence and creativity to overcome overwhelming odds. Anna's name began to appear in discussions of leadership and respect, no longer as a companion to Mark, but as a force to be recognized and honored. Ambassadors and governors requested her presence in meetings. They wanted her advice, not because she was Mark's partner, but because she had proven her ability to think strategically under pressure. Some leaders were reluctant to admit the depth of her talent, but the results were undeniable. She had transformed a battle that could have ended in disaster into a triumph. Meanwhile, within the fleet, morale soared. The crew now understood the power of mutual respect and trust. Pilots who had once hesitated to follow her commands now moved with confidence. Engineers implemented her suggestions without question. Even the younger members of the fleet, who had looked to her with uncertainty, now sought her guidance eagerly. Anna's influence spread quietly but effectively, shaping not only the strategy but also the spirit of humanity's forces. As the fleet moved toward the colonies to ensure their safety, Anna continued to work alongside Mark. Every decision was a partnership. He never overshadowed her insights, and she always considered his experience and judgment. Together, they created a model of leadership based on equality, respect, and mutual trust. Their collaboration showed that true power was not domination, but partnership. One evening, after a long day of planning and repairs, the bridge was quiet. Anna and Mark stood together, observing the stars. "Do you think the galaxy understands now?" Mark asked. Anna shook her head slightly. "Some will, some will not. But it does not matter. We act, we lead, and we inspire. That is enough." Mark nodded, knowing she was right. The impact of their actions was already spreading. The alien empire, watching from afar, had begun to reconsider its assumptions about humanity. Where they had expected weakness and fear, they now saw resilience, intelligence, and unity. Their commanders realized that humans could adapt faster than any rigid formation, and that even a single well-led fleet could disrupt entire campaigns. Anna's strategic mind had not only saved lives, but had changed the perception of humans across the galaxy. As repairs finished and ships were ready to continue their journey, Anna received messages of thanks and respect from allies and colonies. Each message acknowledged her contribution to the fleet's victory. For the first time, she did not feel like a visitor in human leadership. She belonged. Her voice mattered, her decisions mattered, and her courage mattered. Mark placed a hand on her shoulder. "You have become more than a partner," he said quietly. "You have become a symbol of what humanity can achieve." Anna smiled, a mixture of humility and pride. "We all are symbols," she replied. "Every person who fought, every mind that contributed, every hand that helped makes this victory possible. I am only one part of a larger story." The stars stretched endlessly before them, full of challenges and unknown dangers. But the human fleet had learned something vital. Strength comes not from numbers alone, but from courage, unity, and respect. Anna's leadership had shown the galaxy that humanity could rise above doubt and fear, that their power lay in intelligence, strategy, and the ability to trust one another. She was no trophy. She was a queen, not by title, but by the respect and admiration she had earned through wisdom and action. The galaxy was quiet now, but the peace felt fragile. The alien empire had retreated, their forces scattered and hesitant. Human colonies, once threatened, now felt a sense of security. Yet for Mark and Anna, the journey was not over. Their work to protect lives, plan for future defenses, and guide humanity's allies continued. Anna walked through the corridors of the flagship, observing the crew as they went about their duties. There was a calm confidence among them, a trust in one another that had grown stronger after the trials of the battle. Officers and crew members no longer whispered doubts about her. Instead, they sought her advice, followed her guidance, and respected her judgment. She had become more than a strategist or leader. She had become a symbol of human strength, courage, and wisdom. Mark approached her quietly. "You've changed." "Everything," he said softly. Anna smiled faintly. "Not me alone. The fleet, the crew, every person who believed in the mission, they made this possible. I only guided them." Mark shook his head gently. "You guided us all, and in doing so, you changed how the galaxy sees humans. You are more than a partner. You are a queen in your own right." Their bond had grown stronger than ever. It was built on trust, respect, and shared purpose. The whispers of mockery from the Galactic Council were long gone, replaced by admiration and cautious acknowledgement of humanity's strength. Anna had proven that true leadership did not rely on titles or appearances, but on action, intelligence, and courage. Reports arrived from distant colonies, praising the human fleet and its leadership. They described how Anna's strategies had prevented destruction, saved countless lives, and inspired unity among soldiers and civilians alike. Some leaders who had doubted humans or Anna personally were forced to reconsider their assumptions. They had witnessed humanity's ability to adapt, to fight intelligently, and to lead with honor. The fleet gathered in the command hall for a formal address. Mark and Anna stood side by side before the crew and allied representatives. "Today, we have shown that strength is not only in numbers or weapons," Mark began. "It is in courage, wisdom, and trust. Every member of this fleet played a part. But one person's guidance, intelligence, and courage inspired all of us. Anna has demonstrated what it means to lead with honor and purpose." Anna stepped forward, her voice calm but firm. "This victory belongs to everyone," she said. "Every pilot, engineer, and soldier contributed. Our unity, our ability to trust and work together, is humanity's true strength. Together, we have shown the galaxy that humans are not to be underestimated. Together, we have protected the colonies and earned the respect of allies and even former enemies." The crew erupted in quiet applause, a mix of pride and relief. Anna did not seek personal recognition, yet she received it naturally. She had earned it through action, intelligence, and courage, not through display or title. Mark placed a hand on her shoulder, a simple gesture that carried more weight than words. Together, they were a symbol of equality, partnership, and human achievement. Across the galaxy, stories spread. Humans were no longer seen as weak or disorganized. They were recognized for their ingenuity, adaptability, and spirit. Anna's name became a sign of inspiration, showing that strength came from collaboration and respect rather than domination. She had become a queen in body and soul, not through possession or ceremony, but through the admiration and trust she earned from everyone around her. That evening, as the ship sailed through the quiet stars, Anna and Mark stood on the observation deck. The distant suns cast light across the black void, highlighting the endless possibilities of the galaxy. "Do you think we've changed anything for the better?" Mark asked. Anna looked at him, her gaze steady. "We have," she said. "Humans have shown they can lead, protect, and inspire. That is enough to change perceptions and set the course for the future." Mark nodded. "And together, we will continue to do so," he said. Anna smiled. She no longer felt like a companion or someone underestimated. She was a leader, a strategist, and a symbol of humanity's potential. They would face future challenges, guide their people, and ensure that courage, wisdom, and unity remained at the heart of human strength, God as the stars stretched endlessly. Before them, Anna felt a quiet confidence. She had survived trials, fought battles, earned respect, and guided humanity through the first steps of a new era. She was no trophy, no decoration. She was a queen by her actions, her courage, and her soul. Mark had not claimed her. He had honored her. And together, they would continue to show the galaxy what humanity could achieve. The fleet moved forward, united, ready to face whatever dangers awaited. Humanity had proven its power, not through fear or dominance, but through intelligence, courage, and partnership. And at the heart of this truth, Anna and Mark stood side by side, leading not as master and possession, but as equals, champions of humanity, and guardians of a brighter future.